Hey, what is up, guys, and welcome back to F1 2020 League Racing, where today we're in for the Japanese Grand Prix around Suzuka. And right at the start of the session, it was just about checking if it was going to rain anytime in the session because Suzuka in the rain is just a nightmare for me. And yeah, thankfully, there was no rain forecast for this session. And my first flying lap, or my second fastest lap, was a 1:26.0, I believe, but as you'll see on the face cam right now, just not happy with the last corner. I messed that up. And yeah, let me take you around now for the fastest lap that I did. But just a small reminder, if you haven't already, then make sure you're subbed to the channel. That really lets me know that I'm doing good work, and it motivates me for future videos. But now let me take you around for the fastest lap I did in the session. There is an Alfa Romeo in front of me, so that was going to be tricky in sector 1, but into turn 1 just before the 50 would turn in, and then it's all about carrying that momentum through this corner. And yeah, I got a really good exit, so I was happy with that. Just the casual lift for this left, and then bring the car to the right before you throw it into this left. And now the dirty air from the Alfa Romeo was kind of hindering me at this point. And yeah, Dunlop, as you can see, as a result, was not optimal, and yeah, just kind of stuck in traffic. But yeah, maximum commitment through Degner 1 and then Degner 2, and it was all about just maximizing my sectors 2 and 3 because I was already, as you can see, 1.5 tenths down on my time, so I had to gain these 1.5 tenths. And yeah, I lose some more time out of that hairpin, so yeah, I had to gain these 1.5 tenths and then better my time because I knew that there was a tenth or two in the last corner. So coming up to Spoon, which is one of my favorite corners, but yeah, maximum commitment again. And if I'd pushed any more through that entry section, I would have invalidated the lap, but I've gained about a tenth, and we're still half a tenth down on my time. Purple middle sector, so yeah, that was a relief to see. But into this last chicane, brake before the 100, and then maximum curb usage on both of these turns. So yeah, not optimal again, but it was just that the last time around was so bad that I still gained about 7/100ths of a second, and that meant that we would be doing a 1:25.963, which was not really optimal, but yeah, it was good enough for pole position. But around Suzuka, it's a very simple one-stop strategy, so you pit for the mediums around lap 10 or 11. But now it's time for the race start in Suzuka, and it's lights out and away we go. And yeah, we don't get a good start, but everybody behind us also has a bad start, so it works out in favor of us. And yeah, just about not making mistakes on this first lap, and if we can keep it clean, there are just hardly any overtaking spots around Suzuka, so you don't really have to worry if you're leading the pack, because this P1 around this track is just the best place to be. So yeah, taking it really easy in this first sector, just not doing anything extraordinary, not pushing the car way too much because the tires are cold, and I have about 10 laps to stretch on these tires. So just about keeping it clean right now, and if I knew that if I could just do that, I had the pace to maintain this race lead. But into this hairpin right now, and yeah, again in third gear, just abusing the tires as less as possible, just because you have to stretch these tires out. And Suzuka, around Suzuka, it's always very critical to just be very cautious of the tire wear and the tire temperatures, because through sector 1, if your tires are not in good shape, you'll suffer. But coming directly to lap 4 now, and you can see that we have stretched about 1.2 seconds to the Williams behind us, so definitely that was a relief. And I was not trying to drive too fast at this point because I just knew that I just have to be beyond his DRS. But on to the next lap now, and you can see the Ferrari of IRC Not So Masoom, so he's gotten past the Williams and he's now pushing really hard. So it was just something that I was wary of. But coming up to the first mistake we made in the session, and yeah, this Spoon corner really in the race hurt me, as you'll see over the video. But just casual mistakes or small mistakes, in 2 or 3 laps, once every 2 or 3 laps, they just really cost me. But at this time, I did not want to use too much CRS because I lost the rear end out of Spoon. But yeah, at the same time, I still wanted to maintain the lead. But I knew that if Masoom was going to use too much ERS, I would let him go, because there's no point fighting right now. As in P4 and P5, you can see the Renault and the Mercedes, they started on the harder compound of tires. So if we fight really hard right now and lose time to each other, there's just no point in losing time to the alternate strategy. So it was just about following him now, and I knew that if I could just keep it clean and keep it in close proximity to the Ferrari in front, it would just be, it will just play out nicely over the race. And it's just been 6 laps, so I knew that we had 21 more laps to go. But coming on lap 7, and again I make a mistake going into spoon. So remaining all the remaining corners on this track, I was just keeping up very nicely with him. Everything was in control, but I don't know why I was making mistakes in spoon all of a sudden. And yeah, on lap 9 again I lose the rear end and run wide. And yeah, you can see from the face cam, even I was very surprised, by why I was doing that around spoon. But at this moment I made a split second decision to pit on lap 9 itself, which would mean that I would try to undercut the Ferrari in front. And I knew that maybe that was because of the dirty air from the Ferrari that I was losing the car every time going into spoon. So I just wanted to be in clean air again, and I decided to pull the trigger early, and we pit on lap 9 itself. So it was risk critical for me to come out in clean air if I wanted to make the undercut happen. And you can see behind me there is an Alfa Romeo approaching, so into turn 1 we almost go side by side. But yeah, I just about evade the threat of being in dirty air on my out lap. But coming on the very next lap on the main straight, so we're using a lot of overtake simply because we want to come out in free air, and we thankfully undercut the Ferrari, and that means that we've again regained the net P1 of this race. So yeah, just coming into sector 1 now, very nice and clean this air in front of me, and we have our teammate who is about 1.5 seconds in front. But coming out of the last chicane, and I was not expecting the Ferrari to really try a move right now, because it's just 1 lap after I undercut him. But just looking back at this right now, I really feel like kicking myself, because I have no idea what was going on in my mind, and I just let him go past again. I just didn't defend the position whatsoever, and you'll see that how crucial or how big a mistake this was in a moment's time. But just not defending this position after undercutting the Ferrari was, in hindsight, the biggest mistake that I made in this session. So coming into 130R on lap 12 now, and there is a safety car, so this would just mean so many different things that would be possible for the people behind me and in front of me, in terms of strategy, because a safety car is pretty much, to everyone who started on the alternate strategy, it's just a free pass to get back close to the lead of the race on fresher tires. So yeah, you'll see right now.
So slow. Come on, Masum, go. Fuck. Who is he waiting? 2 seconds on the delta. Other people are going to come out in front of us.
Yeah, I was just a little unhappy with the Ferrari going so slow. But yeah, I have no idea why I was singing or whining like that. So yeah, at the safety car restart, and with cold tires, it's just very, very tough to get that traction. But thankfully we get a really good getaway from the cars behind. And now it was just about firstly evading that threat from the Renault behind, who was on soft tires, so naturally he was going to be really fast for the next 4 or 5 laps. But it was also very important to just stay behind the Ferrari in front and see what can be made out of that situation. But into the last chicane on lap 16, and yeah, just another small mistake coming out of that last chicane, and this was me just gifting P2 to the Renault behind. And yeah, in an attempt to have a really good last corner, I just overcooked the meal, and yeah, I lost a position as a result of that. So now I was behind both the Renault and the Ferrari, and also just about in the DRS of the Ferrari. So I knew that I had not really driven a good second stint in the race, and for good measure, we run wide ever so slightly for the 3rd time, and we get a 3-second time penalty. And you can see people around us, they don't have any penalties at all. So I knew that I had done everything in my capability to ruin this second stint of the race. But on the very last lap now, and just nothing happened for these last 5 laps. I was trying to drive as fast as I could, but just pitting 1 lap earlier, and not having really high ERS levels, I was just a sitting duck and I could not keep up with the Renault and the Ferrari in front, so lost about a second in the last 3 or 4 laps because of the tire and the ERS disadvantage. But yeah, we would be coming on track in P3, but with the penalties and all, we would be finishing
3 second penalty
P4.
wouldn't go,
But yeah, just not ideal driving, and small mistakes throughout the race just cost me, a shot at P1 or P2, and yeah, that was just not what I had in mind when I came into this session. But that would mean that we would be now P3 in the championship with 185 points. And ever since Monza, I think I've been on a bad streak of races, but it is just how it is at times. And I think there are 4 rounds remaining in this season, and I would be giving it everything for these next 4 rounds. But thank you for watching. Do let me know what your thoughts are on this video. I've tried to keep this short, but yeah, if you have any thoughts, feedbacks, or suggestions, then do let me know in the comment section. But if you stayed till the end, then a big thank you. It really does mean a lot to me. And until the next time, until the next video or a live stream, just stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you in the next one.